my channel. Today I'm excited to share with you guys my review and swatches of the new Smashbox Masterclass Lighting Theory palette. If you guys saw my Sephora haul from several weeks back, you guys know I went to the VIB Rouge event where we got to see some of the previews of new fall makeup and purchase some of the makeup. So this was one of the items I picked up, and you guys know I was kind of skeptical about this Smashbox palette because I pretty much have not liked a lot of the stuff that I purchased from Smashbox, and a lot of the palettes have been definitely big misses for me, and so it's kind of a hit or miss with the Smashbox stuff. So I was really skeptical with this one, and I'm really happy to tell you guys, like, I actually really am impressed with this palette and think this is definitely a hit compared to a bunch of the misses I've gone through with their other palettes. This is definitely a really good palette. So if you're interested and you're like me and tend to get a lot of misses from Smashbox, definitely check out this one. This one is a good one. So it is available at Sephora.com. Not sure if it's available in stores yet. So again, this is what the palette looks like, and here is the inside. It does retail for $65. It says it's a $399 value. Not sure if I believe that. That is a huge claim. I'm not going to sit here and start trying to add it up, but I think regardless, for it being a good palette and everything you'll get in here, $65 is a good value regardless. So it says it's a face palette to create an even complexion, add depth and dimension, cast a high voltage glow, and achieve eye looks for any occasion. This palette has everything you need to create pro makeup looks with perfectly lit glow. Become a master at lighting with this palette for looks that flatter in any light. Inspired by the pro lighting effects used on set in Smashbox LA Photo Studio, every formula in this palette, from color correcting and contour creams to high voltage highlighters and velvety shadows, was designed to mystify contouring and simplify strobing for everyday looks that stand out under office or evening lights. So inside here, you open it up, it looks like a book, and on one side you have nothing but cream products, and on the other you have powder products. And then you can take these flaps out if it's easier to use the makeup without them sitting inside this book every time. And on this side you get pamphlets that tell you how to use all the products on the left side. And then on the right side you get pamphlets with inspiration on how to create looks with all the eyeshadow. So I think it's a really cool concept. So even though it is big and bulky and it's heavy, like if you were to travel with it, you have a lot of stuff in here that you would need for the face to complete a whole look, as well as the fact that it's nice and sturdy, like this is not going to break. So on this side you do get 4 cream correctors, and then you get 3 cream contour bronzing and highlighting, and then you get 3 highlighters right here that are also cream. Based on all my research, I don't have the boxes anymore and I couldn't find the answer to this. I was wondering if these cream color correctors up here were the same as the color correcting sticks, and same with the highlighters and correctors and bronzers. I was wondering if these were the same as those sticks as well. Again, I couldn't find the exact ingredients anywhere to compare, but I don't have the correctors in my collection, but I do have the cream contour bronzer and highlighter, and I swatched them next to each other and they're not the same exact shades. They're the same amazing great formula. You can use powder products with these, like everything works great. So my guess is that these 4 color correctors up here are the same as the color correcting sticks, which if you're like me, that's really great because I don't have those in my collection, but now I have them in a palette. And what's great, like I said, is these are not the same exact shades as the ones that are already existing in the sticks. So you're not duplicating anything, but you're getting the same amazing quality. Now down here are the highlighters. I do think they're really nice. As you guys know, cream highlighters are just not my favorite thing, but I did really enjoy using this shade down here as kind of a like nice little blush topper, and it gave it like a luminous blush look. So I did like that. So let me go ahead and swatch these for you so you can see this side, and then we'll go on to the other side. So these are really nice correctors. They're very creamy, not too oily. They're gonna work for a lot of people's skin types, and they just really work nicely onto the skin and blend out wonderfully whether you're using a beauty blender or a brush. What's nice is you also have a little bit of everything to correct dark circles, correct redness, bring brightness to your face. You've got a little bit of everything in this palette. So then right here we have the dark brown, which is the contour. We kind of have the chocolatey milk brown, which is the bronzer, and then you have the white kind of creamy highlighter, which for me, this doesn't really work as a highlighter, but I can use it kind of as a concealer as well. But they are really nice, and so I love the cream contouring sticks and all that, the little trio. So these are pretty much exactly the same, amazing. Like the correctors, they work really well with a brush, but my favorite way is actually with a sponge to blend them out. They blend out like a dream. So as far as the highlighters go, you have luminous pink, Then you have a luminous gold and luminous bronze. Now, I don't think these are going to show up incredibly well on a ton of people. I think they actually work really well as a base to any kind of powder highlighter that's going to really intensify the look, or it's going to just make it stay all day and not move. Or like I like to use it, I like to use them as a blush topper and make any kind of my matte blushes kind of a luminous look to them. I really like how that turned out. I did that a ton with this luminous pink shade. So as far as the other side goes, you do get 16 eyeshadows. I really like the color selection here. The top row, you get some nice, really matte transition colors that are just your basic neutral colors. Then you've got some bronze, some purples, a navy, a silver, a peach, like brown, black. You've got a nice little mix. And then down here, you also have some blushes. You have a mauve color, a pink color, and kind of a bronzy peach color. So first we have the shade Candlelight, which is described as a mid-tone pink. Then we have the shade Carnation, which is a mid-tone pink with a gold pearl. And then the last shade is Spectrum, which is a mid-tone brown pink. So I think these are really nice. They're actually really long wearing, really nice to apply on the skin. I like to apply them with this kind of brush. This is my Sigma Powder Blush F10. I thought it picked it up really nicely and dispersed the color onto my face really nicely and evenly. They're really easy to blend out, and they actually stayed on my face for a really long time, or were really long wearing, lasted all day throughout work, and still looked really, really pretty. So like I said, this first row up here are just kind of your neutral basics that you're gonna need to use as transition colors or setting your eye primer or highlighting underneath the brow bone. These are going to be those colors for you, and I think they're really pretty. You have a cream, you have a peach, you have kind of a mauve, and then you have a nice brown. So now on the next row, you have a really nice kind of silvery gray matte shade that's really good, and then you have a beautiful bronzy shade with kind of a purple shift to it. Then you have a beautiful smooth gold. And then you have this really pretty pinky copper shade right here. Really nice. So the first one is matte, and then the last three have some shimmer and foiledness to them. Now this next row in the palette is really fun. You kind of have a smoky gray green shade. Then you have a bright purple that's like really, really finely milled shimmer. Then you have a coppery gold, and then you have a really nice light purpley pink with a gold shift to it. So there are those shades. Now the last row, you have some really nice, fun, like dark colors. You have a dark navy, you have a dark blackish gray, then you have a really nice dark gray brown, and then you have a really nice smoky purple. So there are those shades, some really nice dark colors in the palette to kind of balance out those lighter shades and the palette and the lighter foiled shades. So there were all the swatches of the palette. Now I wanted to touch on the formula of the eyeshadows, because that's honestly where most of the misses are for me with Smashbox palettes. And I'd say that these are kind of nothing like the other ones that I've tried. These are actually the Photo Op formula, which is probably the formula that does the best for Smashbox. And these are really nice and soft and buttery, really, really easy to blend. I think they actually apply 10 times better with a brush than they do when you're actually swatching them and playing with them. I think they build really nicely and apply to the lid and your eyelid and all that a lot better than they do with just a finger, but they're really smooth, really buttery, really easy to work with. I think that they like just apply really nicely to the skin and build up really nicely. I think all the shimmer foil eyeshadows are really nice in here as well. I personally like to use a flat definer brush and tap off the excess, and then I don't have a ton of problems with fallout, but I didn't have a problem with fallout really with this palette to begin with. But they're really nice. I really, really like the matte shades, and I really, really love the foiled shimmery shades. And then as far as the wear time, which this is going to sound incredibly weird, but I actually thought they performed so much better without a primer. Now there were some days that I went in with like a primer as like my foundation or concealer, but the days that I tried it with an official primer or a MAC paint pot, I actually thought they performed better without those, that they lasted longer and their true pigmentation and color stayed true throughout the whole day. They lasted easily like 8 to 10 hours and looked beautiful, and I thought with a primer that it actually made them fade away throughout the day, and by the time I got to that 8 to 10 hour mark, it kind of just all looked a little muddled, and like all those shimmery shades were now kind of just faded away. So for whatever reason, these eyeshadows actually perform really well without an official primer. Now I still used maybe like excess foundation that I still had on my beauty sponge. I would go over my eye with that, but that was the extent of it. And then I always go over with like some kind of base. So like I would go over with this sand shade up here, just over whatever I had on, whether it was a little bit of concealer or foundation, just to set everything. And then I thought they were were wonderful. They were really long wearing, so overall, I'm really impressed by this palette. I think it's really nice that you get all these cream products over here that maybe if you don't have the correcting sticks or the contouring sticks, like this is a really nice alternative to then get amazing eyeshadows and blushes in here. And then, like I said, Smashbox eyeshadows are a big miss for me most of the time, and these are definitely a hit. And I was super excited about them. So I'm super surprised by this palette and how much I really enjoyed it and how much I'm so excited that I'm going to be keeping this palette. So overall, excellent palette. I hope you guys enjoyed this review and swatches and found it helpful, especially if you're like me where you're kind of skeptical about Smashbox and haven't had a ton of luck. Then this might be the perfect palette for you to try out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you can stay tuned to all my upcoming videos. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye!